To revolutionize the future of social media. Today, for just $399, you can own 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. While the big platforms have grown too massive and disconnected from their users, Fanbase is building a platform where creators and users truly come first. We've already raised $8.6 million from everyday investors who believe in this vision, and now you can join them. This is your chance to invest in a social media tech company with over 1 million users that is disrupting media by allowing anyone to reach all of their following and monetize their content from day one. The market is changing, big platforms are failing to serve their users, and Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now. Invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the future of social media.
Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
I Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. And right now we're accepting investors in our $17 million round to revolutionize the future of social media. Today, for just $399, you can own 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $6.65 a share. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. While the big platforms have grown too massive and disconnected from their users, Fanbase is building a platform where creators and users truly come first. We've already raised $8.6 million from everyday investors who believe in this vision, and now you can join them. This is your chance to invest in a social media tech company with over 1 million users that is disrupting media by allowing anyone to reach all of their following and monetize their content from day one. The market is changing, big platforms are failing to serve their users, and Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now. Invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the future of social media.
Today is Tuesday, April 8, 2025, coming up on Roland Mark Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. The U.S. Supreme Court has blocked a federal judge's order that would have required Donald Trump to rehire thousands of federal employees. This means they may remain without income. They are saving his ass again. Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is calling out the same administration that talks about cutting government costs for spending, guess what, $26 million for Donald Trump to play golf every weekend. You don't want to miss the Crockett Chronicle. A fired former DOJ attorney testified literally that Donald Trump and MAGA sent U.S. Marshals to her home to try to force her not to testify before Congress. National Park Service got their asses lit up over Harriet Tubman. Now they've reinstated a photo and a quote of hers to their website, calling the edits, quote, unauthorized. Really? Plus, we'll talk to a white Texas state senator who went off on one of his Republican colleagues, the sponsor of an anti-DEI bill, showing him it's a whole bunch of white men that got jobs. Plus, we'll talk about the latest multi-million-dollar lawsuit against North Carolina HBCU, St. Augustine University, where we'll be having a town hall this weekend. Plus, the racist ex-husband of racist Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is now apologizing for insulting Muslim women who were trying to pray. It's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered. On the Black Star Network, let's go.
Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Well, the U.S. Supreme Court saved Donald Trump's ass again. They are pulling back on a decision by a federal judge forcing them to rehire thousands of federal workers who were fired. In the 7-2 ruling, the court sided with the Trump administration, allowing it to proceed with firing these workers. More than 16,000 workers, many of them still in their probationary period. And the workers were let go as part of a sweeping move by the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief, the con man Donald Trump, and his fake Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE, to downsize the federal government aggressively. Justices Ketanji Brown Jackson and Sonia Sotomayor spoke out against the decision. Justice Jackson said the administration, frankly, was being out of line. They said they had not shown enough urgency to justify pushing this case so quickly to the Supreme Court, suggesting that this was more about a power grab. You think? Other lawsuits still pending. One federal judge in Maryland has already blocked these firings in nearly 20 states in the District of Columbia. Now, you take this decision and you also factor in them allowing them to continue to fly people out of the country who have not gotten due process. And what it shows you is that the Trump administration, they are banking on this right Supreme Court allowing them to do whatever they want. My pal, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA out of D.C. A. Scott Bolden, he's an attorney here in D.C. Derek Jackson, state representative, Georgia District 68 out of Atlanta. Glad to have all three of you here. I suppose I'll start with the CAPA lawyer, Scott Bolden. So, Scott, let's go ahead and deal with the law here. Bottom line is, Donald Trump's whole strategy is, hey, challenge a lawsuit, go to the Supreme Court. He believes the Supreme Court is going to let him do whatever he wants. They don't want to go through the normal process. They want to fast track everything. And that's what Justice Brown Jackson was saying. Whoa, wait a minute. How in the hell is this case all of a sudden to us so quickly?
Yeah, you know, the Article 3 courts, the circuits, as well as the federal district courts, are saving our democracy right now. They're doing their jobs, Republican or democratically appointed. The Supreme Court seems to keep saving him, but it absolutely makes no sense when you have lower courts who are saying you simply can't do this. And so I think you're right about the strategy. Their strategy is go through the courts as quickly as possible, avoid the courts as quickly as possible, get to the Supreme Court as soon as possible, and hope that they save them. Now, in regard to the Venezuelan gangs that they transported to El Salvador, they didn't get the relief that they really wanted.
No. I'm sorry, the alleged gang members.
Yeah, many of them are alleged because at least two we know certainly aren't gang members, but they left open. See, the Supreme Court gave the ACLU some relief, saying, well, they're entitled to due process, but it was silent as to, well, where do we go from here? what does that mean going forward? But more importantly, what about the alleged gang members that are in San Salvador right now, or San Salvador prison now, and since they didn't get their due process rights? Are you going to order the government to fly them back, give them due process rights? They were completely silent, which means those alleged prisoners or those alleged gang members stay there for now. So again, that's the place of relief. That's why elections matter, and that's why the Republicans have stacked that court for this very reason. Watch the Republican administration or watch the Trump administration to take full advantage of it, and that's another dangerous weapon of theirs in regard to whitewashing and destroying our democracy.
Mustafa, here's what's utterly insane. You take the case. 60 Minutes did a report showing that 75% of the people they put on planes that flew out of the country did not even have a criminal record. And so what critics are suggesting is that these people are offering no due process. What they are simply doing is snatching people off the streets, throwing them in detention facilities, and sending them out of the country. I saw this one video of a woman in Louisiana who was whining, crying, and complaining because her father, who's been here for 45 years, who was invited into the country from Cuba, guess what? They grabbed him, did not care. Well, guess what? Go talk to all those Cubans who voted for Donald Trump. This is exactly what black people and others were warning that was going to happen, that they were going to racially profile and just start snatching people up. And we're seeing this. Latinos, Muslims, you name it, and they're just sending them out of the, say, we'll deal with them later. And even in the case of El Salvador, literally fighting it and trying to ignore the judge's decision while the plane was in the air by saying, international waters, sorry, you have no jurisdiction. That's how illegal these people are operating.
Yeah, you know, that they continue to not want to follow the law in any form or fashion unless it is against them, and then they want the law, they want justice to actually be front and center. You know, unfortunately, you know, our country is supposed to be founded, due process is supposed to be one of the sort of hallmark things that helps to set us apart from dictatorships across the planet. But, you know, these folks don't seem to want to follow that for some reason. And black folks, you know, as you shared, you know, we warned them that these types of things could actually happen because we went through it throughout the history of this country, where they used to just grab brothers off the street, sisters as well, and say they were just vagrants and then lock them up because they wanted free labor. So we have a history with this. And that's the reason that we were sounding the alarm. You know, you've got an administration that is a rogue administration. It is an administration that feels like that they can do whatever they want. And when you have, you know, Scott so aptly laid out, you know, some of the district courts and some of the others that have been doing the right thing. But when you know you have a Supreme Court that seems to not be as concerned about justice, not so concerned about the Constitution, not so concerned about every individual's rights, then you have a very precarious situation going on here where, you know, whether you happen to be Latino or you happen to be Muslim or you happen to be a number of other groups that they don't seem to value their lives as much, then, you know, we've got to continue to fight, push back, highlight these injustices that are going forward, and then make sure that we have politicians and judges moving forward when we have the opportunity to have those people in place that actually want to honor the rule of law.
You know, Derek, the thing here, again, MAGA, Donald Trump, all these right-wingers, they're mad and upset that these federal judges are ruling against them, but they didn't mind when those federal judges ruled against President Joe Biden. Now they want to change the law to target those federal judges, including even impeach them. Newt Gingrich was on the Capitol Hill. We showed the video last week talking about, how one judge shouldn't have all of this power. And he was lit up by Congressman Joe Nagase by saying, I'm sorry, why were you so silent when it happened under Biden? They are hypocrites. They only want what's good for them and no one else.
You know, Roland, once again, we're sounding the alarm, right? We sound the alarm during Project 2025. We're sounding the alarm again. The whole essence of Project 2025 now, this Trump administration, is to consolidate government. This is to make sure all the powers rest in the executive branch. They don't want no safeguards. They don't want no checks and balances. They want to be able to do as they so will. I mean, think about, what we've been talking about so far this evening, and that is this whole law that they're using from 1789. The Alien Enemies Act made sure that the United States had to be declared in war. We're not at war. And so we have to look at what they're really trying to signal. And that is not just picking up the other. One day they're going to start picking up citizens, Black and brown people, and taking them to El Salvador and Cuba and other places. Because when you start to do that, they're going to really execute the plan in Project 2025, which is, as they've already stated, to deport 20 million citizens. The word immigration is not in there. It said 20 million citizens. So this is just a test run when you start to kidnap people, because that's what this is, picking them up and not saying where they're going and then taking them to another country. That's problematic.
And let me be real clear here, folks. And Scott, I think this is really important. Look, you got a lot of Black people who are like, yo, I'm down with this. Send their asses back. But there still is a phrase, 2 words that matter. It's called due process. And if you take the position that, oh, send them back, I don't care, and you completely ignore due process, you know what that means? They are going to not allow due process in other areas.
Yeah, and have before, and if you believe this is the third Reconstruction, as you often talk about, then we're next on the targeted list. I joke with my colleagues about, have you got your camp number yet? Because they're coming for us next, because the Black and brown immigrants who are here, they've got a target on their back. Listen, the beauty of due process is everyone's entitled to it, and when you become a target of the criminal justice system or the immigration system, you certainly do want due process. Now, the only reason this government is doing this is simply to expedite the deportation, to feed the MAGA appetite for eliminating Black and brown people in anticipation of 2043, when we become a country of color, if you will. That's it. This is purely political. And if you listen to the rhetoric of not only MAGA supporters, but the administration and the president, all they talk about and all they market is what they're to match their rhetoric. That's it. It's to expedite, to get rid of the worst and the criminals. But you see, you make mistakes that they have to admit when you don't give them due process. They're terrified of the lower courts because even their own lawyers for DOJ, who don't have the information, are being fired by the Attorney General for not, quote, being prepared in court or zealously advocating for these illegal programs or this illegal conduct. They're actually being terminated for not following these orders that are really illegal orders. And so people talk about a constitutional crisis, Roland. We've been in a constitutional crisis from the moment in January when this new administration was sworn in and stuff. And the courts are trying to save us, but no one else is. Congress not going to save us. The executive branch isn't going to save us, which is why we got 2 years, 16 months, right, to try to take this House of Representatives back so we can have a legal mechanism to push back. Sure, we got to vote and register and vote up and down the ballot and all the other great stuff that you talk about. But in the end, it's beyond Cory Booker standing there for 25 hours. We need real power, and the first opportunity to do that is with this House of Representatives. Last point is the House of Representatives and the congressional vote in 2 years or 60 months is super important, because I can tell you right now, within 3 years of this operation that we call an administration, they're going to try to figure out a way, legally or illegally, for Trump to keep the presidency illegally for another 4 years. That's going to be the long-term challenge, but it's creeping up on us very fast.
Yeah, it's about power. And again, Mustafa, if you are allowed not to provide due process in one area, what these thugs have shown is that they are then going to begin to apply that in other areas as well. Look, the Supreme Court, it says equal justice under law. And we can't, even if you somebody black watching and listening and you believe just send everybody back, you had better understand due process, because if there's any group of people who have a history with America not giving them any due process, is black people. Just ask every family that has had a history of lynching.
Without a doubt. I mean, Dr. King laid it out for us. He said injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. He had real intentionality in sharing those words. Of course, in the moment, the things that they were dealing with, they saw every time that they made a positive step forward, that people were pushing back. And they were pushing back in a number of areas, whether it was, around access, or whether it was around housing, or a number of other things. You can go down the list of the things where he knew that we had to hold the line. So for brothers and sisters out there, I mean, I get the impacts that are happening in our communities. Everybody knows I done worked in a whole bunch of them all over the place. But we have to make sure that we are not allowing the erosion of justice to continue to happen. Because, we are next, unfortunately, in the crosshairs. Some would say we're already in those crosshairs. And they said that, these people that they're sending back there, are criminals and those types of things. Well, they try and criminalize us all the time. And we understand that that's just the next step in being able to move us wherever they might see fit. So we need to pay particular attention to what's going on. Yes, we have to focus on the issues that are happening inside of our communities, but we also got to understand that there is an interconnectedness to what is going on, and we have to be prepared to also make some investments in this space to make sure that we are not the next ones that find ourselves, in a number of black site locations across the planet. And I'll stop there so I don't get in trouble.
Well, but they don't get in trouble. I mean, bottom line here, Derek, when Mustafa talked about, excuse me?
I'm surprised you still on the air. You should be going underground, because they coming for you next. You look like you from Africa or something.
I'm 2 blocks from here. Tell them to bring their punk asses here.
You got one lawyer in your corner.
Bring their punk asses here. As a hashtag, bring your ass. Derek, bottom line is, what we are facing right now, Derek, we are facing a bunch of scared punks in this country. Okay? You got punk-ass law firms that are buckling, that are kissing his butt. Republicans. You got Democrats that are buckling. You got people who are scared to death. Oh, my God. You got all these Silicon Valley folks who got more money than anybody, who are doing all they can to kiss his ass. No, this is a moment where people must stand up to the thug, stand up to the bully, stand up to the con man, and our legal warriors must be doing what they are supposed to do, fighting using the law. These thugs, Donald Trump, thug, J.D. Vance, thug, Elon Musk, thug, Stephen Miller, thug, all of them, Pam Bondi, thug, Cash Patel, thug, Dan Bongino, thug. They do not care about the rule of law. They do not care about the Constitution. All they care about is doing whatever they want, when they want, and everyone else who disagrees be damned.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Roland. And I tell you what, they also know that their time span is short. I mean, if you think about what just took place over this weekend, nearly 6 million people across the United States. I mean, they had some signs out there. I know here in Atlanta, Roland, we had 30,000 folks that marched 2.5 miles. And if you read some of the signs, it wasn't saying that we want Trump. I mean, they had some very egregious words for this bully. And when you think about what also is happening in the stock market, I posted today, hey, last time I checked, DEI didn't crash the stock market. And LGBTQ transgender that did not cause for $12 trillion. You had Tim Cook, Johnny Damon, J.P. Morgan, all these folks now saying, oh, we didn't expect this. What were they expecting? What were they expecting, Roland? Everybody that was on the front seat during his inauguration, what were they expecting for him to do? They just thought the rain was going to fall on black people? They just thought the thunderstorms were going to fall in our neighborhoods? $12 trillion, Roland, has been lost in the stock market. Now you have 4 Republicans in the Senate who are voting with Democrats right now saying we need to put some legislation, and forget all this litigation stuff. We need legislation. But then the Speaker of the House, Roland, he says, trust the process. But this is the same individual who will not go back to Louisiana and conduct a town hall meeting. These bullies, these thugs do not want to face the music. And the music is that those 6 million people that were marching this past Saturday, they want that ass, point blank. And they don't want to face the music.
But see, but what has to happen here, Mustafa, is you have to use everything at your disposal. This is not, let me be real clear, this is not about only marching, only protesting, only sending letters. This is about you have to attack these thugs on a legal front, a moral front. You must attack them on a grassroots front, on an economic front, on a political front. I mentioned this yesterday. Go to my iPad. Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat, this person told me tonight that he's holding up all Trump nominees going forward in the Senate. Blumenthal sits on 4 committees: Judiciary, Armed Services, Vet Affairs, and Homeland, that oversee many nominations. Dems building a wide-ranging nomination blockade in the Senate. That's Senator Richard Blumenthal. You also have same thing. You have Senator Brian Schatz. Same thing here. This is right here. Senator Brian Schatz blocking more than 300 Trump administration nominations by refusing to let them pass with unanimous consent. I don't think we should make anything easy going forward, he said. Well, guess what? It's about damn time. And this has to happen, Mustafa. I think back when you had all of those military appointments that Senator Tommy Tuberville held up because he said that the Pentagon, they were allowing reproductive rights to move forward. And so if you're a Democrat, now that's what you do. You sit here and you create a blockade. You create a blockade. Right. You simply say, ain't a damn thing moving. Ain't nothing moving. Listen, now mind you, I held out. But this reminds me, Mustafa, when I was a kid, we were eating dinner, and I wanted an additional piece of chicken. And my dad was like, you gonna eat them peas first. Now, first of all, I hate peas. No, I don't think you understand. I hate, the only thing I probably hate more than peas is the Dallas Cowboys. But it's a damn close second. I hate peas. I think peas are nasty. I think peas are horrible. And I know my dad gonna test me because he loves vegetables. I'm like, I can't stand them damn peas. So he was like, you ain't getting another piece of chicken unless you finish them peas. I was like, I guess we gonna be sitting here at this damn table, people. We sat there. Now you gotta understand, I stayed up late. I still stay up late. I go to bed at 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I still stay up late. And I was sitting there and I was like, I know he can't outlast me. I said, so we were at that table about 2.5, 3 hours. Then he got mad. He was like, pack this shit up and take your ass to bed. He was hot. I ain't eat them damn peas. See, sometimes you got to take a stand. And so I took my stand against them peas, and guess what? Ain't a damn pea in my house. And if my wife wants some peas, that's on her. So you got to sometimes say, ain't nothing moving. We gonna sit here. I'm gonna wait you out. They should sit there and say, we ain't moving nomination for the next 3 years. And then force the Republicans, Mustafa, to have to go through the laborious task of putting one name. And that's what you do. You sit there Do you allow unanimous consent? No.
Nope.
That's what you got to do, Mustafa. Shut it down.
I mean, I agree. You got to use every tool in the toolbox, everything that you have the ability to utilize in this moment. It does a number of things. Yes, it slows the process down, but it also helps to make the process more authentic, because when folks don't see you fighting back, right, those people who elected you, who sent you to Capitol Hill, that says something to them. It says you don't really have a spine. Either you don't have a spine or you don't have the intelligence that's necessary to be able to navigate the moment that you find yourself in. So I have a problem, because one, if you don't have a spine, I don't need you to be there. And if you don't have the intelligence to be able to navigate, I don't need you to be there. So you've got to do something in this moment to make sure that people know that you're serious about defending their rights, about trying to make sure that this country is more equitable, and to be able to push back against the injustice that continues to happen, both from the administration and from the co-signing that continues to happen on Capitol Hill. So you have the opportunity to make sure that you're doing something, and people will appreciate that. They understand that there's limited amounts of power, but if you build up those small pieces, then it has significance. So, you know, I always just say, get up off your butt and do something. And my daddy was no joke. My dad would be like, if there is a problem, you better come forward with some solutions before you sit down and have a conversation with me about it. So, you know, people, everyday people, are willing to stand up. You know, the brothers shared these different examples that are there. I'm big on the economics, because I believe one of the ways you get these people's attention, and we've saw it over the last few days with the stock market, is to actually be utilizing ways of hitting folks in the pocket. But there are a number of other tools. Me coming from the grassroots movement, I understand the power, you know, that's there in protesting in various forms, as long as it's nonviolent. Let me just say that. But, you know, we've got this moment, and we need to utilize it in a way that people know we're serious, that we're standing up for them, or we're standing actually in alignment and solidarity with them, and that folks are going to do what they can.
Look, I told you my dad going to send me a text. Peas are good for you. Scott, hell no. You got to swing. Doc, here's the deal. If you have limited power, then you must maximize your limited power. Limited power don't mean no power.
Roland, but wait a minute, guys. Be honest with your listening audience now. Roland, guys, he didn't eat the peas, right? But what you all don't know is I met his mama and daddy. His mama, when he was growing up, would fix him a separate cake.
You damn skippy.
A cake for the family and a cake for him, because he was so freaking spoiled. See,
Scott, here's your problem right here. See, first of all, Scott, Scott, you're not smart enough to negotiate. See, Scott, here's what you don't understand. See, Scott, right here, see, here's the problem, Scott. See, people just tell you we're going to do something for you, and see, you fall in line. I don't fall in line. My brother. See, Scott, Scott, you see, you think you're a brilliant lawyer, but let me explain.
I am.
But let me explain to you how you outsmart your opponent. My brother's birthday is November 13th. My birthday is November 14th. My mama was like, I'm going to do a joint cake. Well, hell, I didn't want the same damn cake he wanted, okay? So I simply said, you know what? I want a cake with no icing. Well, guess what then happened? My brother wanted icing. What ended up happening? She had to make 2 cakes. See?
That ain't what she said.
No. That's where it started. See, you got to outsmart. You got to learn how to outsmart people, Scott. So I saw the loophole. I was like, I don't want no icing. Had to make a separate cake. See, Scott, you would have never thought of that, Scott. Scott, you would have never thought of that. You would have went ahead and went, yeah, you know what? You right. It's easier to have 1 cake. Hell no, we ain't going to have 1 cake. Got 2 cakes.
He was so selfish that he made his own mama cook a second cake.
No.
And their birthdays are 1 day apart.
Guess what?
Think about what type of son he is.
If you had 2 damn kids in 2 damn years, it's going to be 2 damn cakes.
And she admitted this to me in person. She said, yes, I had to bake him a separate cake, Scott. I said, but why? She said, well, he is my son and I love him. I said,
and you know why I paid?
Versus saying no.
And you know why? I paid off? Because Mama right now is living in my house that I paid off. And guess what? Mama and Daddy have a great ass life. So Daddy like, good job making that second damn cake. See?
I told you I wasn't lying.
See, if you take care of stuff on the front end, they're gonna take care of you on the back end. See, I told you.
Money.
See, Scott, you ain't that bright. Go ahead and make your little point that you were trying to make on the topic at hand before you chose to divert the damn show with your little silly ass cake comment.
Watch this. What was your question again?
Yes. See, my whole question is, when you have limited power, see, you don't even remember. When you have limited power, you are to maximize your limited power and don't act like you don't have any power.
Yeah, no, I agree. It took the Democrats a while to start implementing that, but you have to use all the tools in the toolkit, as Mustafa said. And then eventually, and the thing is, it also puts the Republicans in a trick box, right? Because they've done the same thing to the Democrats, and the Democrats now are going to do it to them, and they can complain all they want. All you have to do is run the videotape or run the legislation back and say, you did the same thing, so shut up, be quiet, in no uncertain terms, right? But see, the Democrats got to get away from wanting to be the right and the morally correct ones and be above the fray. You're dealing with some political thugs, some Republican gangsterism, and you got to get down with the gangsters, which means you got to get on the ground and get out. And you cannot be afraid to do the same thing. And the hell with what the press says or what your moral values say, because for moral values to be relevant, probative material, you have to be dealing with an opponent that has moral values, right? Then you can beat them at that game. But these people, these Republicans aren't practicing moral values, right? They're practicing political gangsterism. And so you got to be a gangster too. Calling all Democratic gangsters, come to the front, because we need you at the door.
Hey, I can pull up an article I wrote on CNN a long time ago saying Democrats got to learn to be gangsters, Derek. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go ahead and go on record. I did this months ago. I'm going to say it right now. Whoever runs for the Democratic nomination for president in 2028, I'm about to give y'all some unsolicited advice right now. Matter of fact, put the camera on me by my damn self. Let me say this again. Here's my advice for every Democratic candidate who's running in 2028 for president. When the press asks you, are you going to release your college transcripts? Hell no.
That's right.
When the press asks you, are you going to put your money into a trust? Hell no. When they ask you, are you going to release your health records? Hell no. When they ask, are you going to add any family members to the administration? You should say, hell yeah. If they say, well, we think you're spending too much time going to your beach house or playing golf, the response should be, kiss my ass. Here's the whole deal. It's abundantly clear. And then if any Democrats, if any Republicans start talking, you'd say, shut the hell up. And then if any Democrats start talking, you say, y'all kiss my ass too. Because see, here's the fundamental problem. Democrats, y'all sit here and y'all try to take the high moral ground and we gonna do it a certain way while the Republicans are in the gutter. And so it's all bets off. Bottom line is, the voters have made it clear, we can elect you if you're a sexual assaulter. We can elect you if you cheat on your taxes. We elect you if you don't pay your damn bills. We can elect you if you lie. And my whole deal is like, so now, don't come to me thinking I'm gonna sit here and do all the right things. No, all y'all, no, damn that. That should be the attitude because this is about straight going gangster. Hey, and guess what? Since y'all didn't say nothing with that thug who you allowed back in the Oval Office, well then, don't be asking me to turn in all my stuff and turn in all my records. No, I ain't turning in a damn thing. Yeah. I approve this message. Derek?
But Roland, Roland, you know that ain't gonna happen. Come on, Roland, you already know. You've been in this political game far longer.
Nah, I'm telling everybody. No, I'm telling right now. I'm telling, and see, don't even. I'm telling you, stop even being nice. Have a debate. Will you commit on this stage that if you don't win the nomination, you're going to endorse all the other candidates? No. We'll see. No, I ain't even, because again, it's clear that America has decided that the rules that it used to demand or call for folks to abide by, they've decided that, it's good for Donald Trump. So it's like, wait, I'm telling you, all this, oh man, let me sit here, let me think it through. Hell no, we ain't doing none of that. We ain't doing none of that. And the answer should be, I'm telling you right now, I go ahead and volunteer. Because first of all, it was a Republican president, especially the ones now, I'm going to cuss them out. In the past, you had some Republicans, you know that? I probably would say, you know what? I could work for that reasonable person. They crazy as hell now. But I'm telling you right now, I'll volunteer to either be the press secretary or the translating press secretary. You need to have somebody. I'm telling you, no, the rules are over. Hey, ask a dumbass question. That's a dumbass question. Next. No, we ain't even. See, I'm telling you, I don't have no patience for none of this anymore, Derek. I got no patience for any of it. I'm telling you right now, Democrats, start playing by the new rules. That's how y'all want to roll? Got it. That's how we gonna roll.
Listen, Roland, I mean, you know me. I agree and second that motion. But in a large part, you're going to have political consultants like James Carville and them. They're going to say when they go low, they're going to say, you remember what Michelle Obama said, when they go low, you go high.
And your response is she ain't running.
We have to meet them where they are right now. That's the reason why when Barack Obama had an opportunity to put another Supreme Court justice, what happened? They were playing too nice, and Mitch McConnell delivered against that behind, right? And so the bottom line is, I agree. The challenge is, can the Democratic Party, the party that I am in, can we get to the point where we're willing to fight a new political arena? Can we put the things aside where we used to, Roland, always, we got to win Wisconsin, we got to win Pennsylvania? No, how about spend some money with Roland Martin's show to make sure that we can get the word out? How about going campaign hard in Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina? Go against the norms. That's what you're talking about. Go against the norms and the traditions, because we already know, Roland, by doing the opposite, we haven't won. So we got to do something new. And part of doing something new is to hold Republicans say, no, you can't tell me if I have something in the closet when you all elected a person with 34 felonies, 6 bankruptcies, and got 3 baby mamas. Come on. So I agree. But you know the Democratic Party ain't going to do that, Roland.
Like I said, you better roll a different way. I'm telling you right now, I don't give a damn. All right, let me go to a break. We come back, y'all. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, she was going off on these folks, but also we gonna talk to a Texas state representative. Young man, I saw this clip and I was like, y'all have got to get this white man on my show. A Texas state senator just straight up called out a Republican by saying, damn, how many more white men do you want to get a job? Yo, y'all gonna trip when y'all see this here. That's next on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network, folks. Don't forget to support the work that we do. Ain't nobody else doing a show like this here. Ain't nobody else in black-owned media, but in mainstream media, ain't nobody doing a show like this here. They not keeping it real. They not being frank. They not being honest, and they damn sure not unapologetically black. So y'all want to support the work that we do? Join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. You get to support this show. You support our new shows on the network. We're working on a business show, a health show. Man, we got all kind of stuff happening. Redesigning the website, hiring staff writers. Yo, we about to sit here and just give these folks hell every single day in every way possible. You want to support us via Cash App? Hit us up this way. And everybody who gives electronically during the show, I'm going to give a shout out while we're live. If you want to give via Cash App, this is the Stripe QR code. Click the Cash App button to contribute. You can use Stripe to also, of course, use credit cards. Send your check and money order. Please do me a favor. Put Roland Martin Unfiltered. Roland Martin Unfiltered. Don't put Uncle Roland Martin. Don't put Black Star Network. Put Roland Martin Unfiltered because it's much easier. We're trying to process the checks and money orders for the bank. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. PayPal R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo RM Unfiltered. Zelle Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, and this is absolutely a damn green pea free zone. Back in a moment.
On the next Get Wealthy with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, I'm sure you've heard that saying that the only thing guaranteed is death and taxes. The truth is that the wealthy get wealthier by understanding tax strategy. And that's exactly the conversation that we're going to have on the next Get Wealthy, where you're going to learn wealth hacks that help you turn your wages into wealth.
Taxes is one of the largest expenses you ever have. You really got to know how to manage that thing and get that under control so that you can build wealth.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Now that Roland Martin is willing to give me the blueprint, hey, Cyrus, I need to go to Tyler Perry and get another blueprint because I need some green money. The only way I can do what I'm doing, I need to make some money. So you'll see me working with Roland. Matter of fact, it's the Roland Martin and Cheryl Underwood Show. Well, should it be the Cheryl Underwood Show and the Roland Martin Show? Well, whatever show it's going to be good.
Now, I'm going to need y'all in the control room pay attention. Did I not say what was coming up next? I said the Texas State Senator was coming up next, not Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. So I need y'all to focus in the control room, okay? All right, so here's what I'm sick and tired of. I'm sick and tired of all these white conservatives, these white Republicans, standing up, yelling DEI, how they're against DEI, when they a bunch of liars and won't even admit to the reality of who DEI actually is helping. Now, listen, we look at contracts and other programs like that. The reality is, yes, is it helping a few black folks, a few Latinos and others, but overwhelmingly the folk who are getting hooked up with DEI are white women. But when you talk about why do you even have DEI in the first place, it's because you largely have white men who wouldn't do right and actually pick folk by merit. They would just keep picking the same folk who look like them, who go to the country club, who play golf, who play tennis, and the same thing. Well, a Texas state senator, they were debating this bill on the floor, and they've been debating this a while. When I was in Austin a few weeks ago being honored as an outstanding Texan by the Texas Legislative Black Caucus, I popped in and they were having a discussion on the floor. Well, here they were having this discussion, and thank God, finally, you had somebody who looked a white Republican in his eye and said what needed to be said. Roll it.
You don't believe there should be 40% Latinos in executive director positions instead of 2%, not even 2%, just 2%.
I believe we should be making these decisions based on merit, not based on the color of our skin or our sex or our ethnicity.
I'm really horrible at math. That's why I went on to law school, members. 2 Latino executive directors, that's got to be less than, that's like a 1.5% of these 135 officers. And we're 40% of the population. You don't think that my folks are qualified enough to do the same job as their white counterparts?
Senator, I don't know where you're getting that. This bill says we should treat everyone the same, regardless of their race, regardless of their sex, regardless of their ethnicity.
But we don't, are we? We're not treating everybody the same. 120 white guys have the job where white women don't have the job, black men and black women don't have the job, brown women don't have the job. Somebody decided in this building, in the powers that be, these commissions, that these white men were the way we wanted to go. And that's not racism to you?
Senator, I don't want to move backwards. I want to move forwards. I want to move toward that society where we're not decided based on race or sex or ethnicity.
Okay, well, what about a quota system right now, today, where we had a merit-based quota system, where we said, we're going to do you on merit? What if Senator Miles puts up an amendment that says, is it going to be merit-based? I think we're going to see an amendment like that from someone in this room today. And what if there was an amendment to the amendment that says, okay, well, let's have a quota so that these agencies could be represented by people of color, qualified people of color, to the percentage of the population in this state. What's wrong with that?
Senator, the most qualified person for the job, regardless of their race, regardless of their sex, without regard to their ethnicity, that's who we want. That's who the people of Texas need to be able to hire.
As long as white men are doing the hiring.
See, thank you. I'm glad somebody non-black called it like it is, because every time we have one of these debates, I'm just going to be real clear, y'all, because this is I remember when Senator Chris Murphy and other Democrats, they were all standing around, dancing around, they sitting here trying to, no, let's not use the word diversity, let's not use inclusion, let's not use this here. Man, call this thing what it is. These folks want to deny what's in our faces because the reality is they really believe that when they see somebody black, they see somebody who's Latino, they see somebody who's Asian, if they see even a white woman, in their minds, if you are not a white man, then you did not get the job. Y'all notice they never call a white man the DEI hire. Matter of fact, do this here. Y'all get this queued up control room. I was supposed to do it yesterday. I'm going to show y'all a grossly unqualified white man who Donald Trump appointed to a job, and the questions he was asked was stunning, and not one Republican in Congress said, why is this man even appointed? Joining us right now is Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez. Glad to have you here. Senator, I mean, first of all, thank you. Thank you for just putting it out there. That man sat there and was like, where are you getting these 120 white men from? He completely acted like they didn't exist. But let me focus on the little speck of color.
No, that's right. I mean, Roland, thank you for having me on. Listen, we've been dealing with this bullshit in Texas for years, and it never stops. Session after session, we hear more and more of their crazy racist bills, and yet we don't ever go out and fix the real things that are hurting people in our communities of color. We don't early child care development. I mean, hunger is an issue still in this state. I mean, shit, we got 450 kids with measles in this state. Housing issues, you name it, healthcare, all of it. Those are the real problems that are affecting us, and yet these guys want to tell us that they want to take it back to a world, I guess, to the 1950s. I guess that's where they want us to be. And they claim that they want to get to a space in Texas where we're colorblind. Well, hell, we haven't gotten there yet.
Right. I mean, can they please, I really would appreciate if one of these white Republicans can pinpoint me the exact day, time, and month when we hired in America and it was all equal, colorblind, merit-based. By all means, can you show me when that actually happened? I dare say that since the Civil Rights Act of 65, since the Voting Rights Act, 64 Civil Rights Act, 65 Voting Rights Act, 68 Fair Housing Act, I dare say since we have those bills, we are more merit-based than we ever have been, because before, it damn sure wasn't the case.
No, I mean, that's right. And and I know when you say quotas, people get a little bit offended about that, and they think, well, we're not there. Well, we've never had quotas to begin with. But if we're truly in a colorblind society where we want to say that it's merit-based, listen, there's a lot of Black young men and young women, Hispanic young men and young women that can do the work just as well as their white counterparts. Then let's have 40% in that building be Latino. Let's have 13% be African American. But that's not the case. 2 African American men are executive directors, 2 Latino men, 10 women out of the 135 executive agencies in the state of Texas.
10 white women, right?
10 white women, that's
right. There you go.
That's right. So let's be clear. Out of 4 people of color out of those positions, when we are a minority state.
61% of Texas are people of color.
That's right. 61% are people of color. And these guys want to tell us that we live in a colorblind world, or they want to get us to a colorblind world. Hell, in that room that I was in, there's about 8 Confederates on the wall.
Boom.
How do we move on with, Robert E. Lee on the wall or somebody that looks like him?
Well, when I was there, I did a whole video. I live streamed it of that big old Confederate memorial that's sitting right there on the lawn. And luckily across the lawn, they finally had a memorial point for African Americans. But that massive monument. See, this is the thing what grates on me when these conversations are held is that Democrats want to shy away from it. What you did is you put it in face. Now the only thing, this is the only criticism I have, Senator. This is the only criticism I have. And trust me, I know it happens naturally, and now this has happened for years. What happens is when we have these conversations, we often use the qualifier qualified. See, they only use that word when it applies to us. But when it comes to any of them getting hired, they never use the word qualified. So I start from the position that if you are considered for the job, that you are qualified. If you got hired, you are qualified. So I don't even use it. I don't even say, hey, we're looking for qualified. Well, that's just automatic. Of course we're looking for qualified. But they never do that. They automatically assume if they got the job, they white, they qualified. We don't even question their resume. And I'm still ticked off with that black woman who was crying over the water, we showed it on the video, and she was crying because of another black legislator came to her defense. But you had that white Republican, Harrison, who literally was questioning this woman on DEI, and she had to sit there and recount how many degrees that she has and what school she went to. And I'm sorry, I just can't accept anymore us having to show our credentials to prove our worthiness when they can just show up.
No, I mean, I'm with you. We are equally as qualified as any of our white counterparts. My parents were immigrants to this country, and yet here I stand in the Texas Senate, a lawyer, just as qualified as the guy I was debating that day. And yet, the jobs that are going, the big jobs in this state are going to white men. Let's face it, because they knew somebody. They knew a guy. Had nothing
Boom!
Qualifications.
Call it what it is. And that's the deal. They knew somebody. And see, I just believe that you just got to call that thing a thing. And it has to be when what you did. So basically, are you trying to explain to me in a state this diverse, 120 white guys, you trying to tell me that out of the whole state, only 4, because you said 2 Latino men, 2 black men, right?
That's right.
So that means that for all these jobs, there wasn't one black woman, wasn't one Latino woman who was eligible. So you had 2 Latino dudes, 2 black dudes, 10 white women. That's 14 out of the whole state. And part of the thing about DEI is forcing you to recruit at different places, to solicit different input, to post a job different places. That's all DEI is. It is to expand your horizon. They want to keep it white, tight, and right.
Well, the very argument that they have is that DEI, this is what Brian Hughes said, that just having these types of diversity, equity, inclusion programs, that just the mere mentioning of them leads us to be racist. It's the most nonsensical thing you've ever heard, because we're nowhere near any kind of colorblind society, not in this state, not in Texas. Just their argument is so flawed. And we have to push back. We as minorities, as Latinos, as African Americans, we've got to push back against what's happening in this state, because we deserve better. And you know, we've been fighting for people for a long time. We're going to continue to do so.
So I had a black state official from South Carolina who stood up, had him on the show the other day, J.A. Moore. And I asked him this question. I said, well, Rep, I got to ask you, where were the white women? Did they say anything? He's like, no. So they're in Texas. Are white male Democrats, are they as aggressive in this as you are? I know with Senator, I saw Senator Boris Miles, my frat brother, when he spoke on that day when I was there. Are white female Democrats saying something? Because here is the other issue that bothers me. First thing that bothers me, anytime we talk about these programs historically, black folks was the ones sitting here leading the charge. And I've challenged Latinos saying, yo, I'm gonna need you to step up. So then you have black and Latinos stepping up. My problem a lot of times is Asian Americans are real quiet. Pakistani Americans, people who actually benefit from programs, are quiet. But white women benefit more. You already gave the numbers. 10 of them, 2 Latino men, 2 black men. Are white women Democrats? Are they being as vigorous in speaking out against this bill as you are, as Senator Boris Miles, as Senator Royce West?
Well, you know, they're doing their part. But to your point, we
hold up, Senator. Now look, you a straight shooter, and you call them straight. If we gonna do it, Senator, let's go ahead and go there.
Well, Roland,
are the white female Democrats doing enough?
We can always do better. We can always do better. And I'll tell you, this is what's happening right now in Texas. We literally need to get black people and brown people on the same page. And that might sound odd to you, but we're in this thing together.
Yep.
And we've got to fight back against the injustices in Texas. And to your point, white women. We are getting killed in this state on everything.
Yep.
On everything. They are taking our civil liberties away in this state. They are attacking Hispanic communities like you cannot believe. You have a guy that this governor, this white governor, let a guy out of prison, pardoned him. The guy killed a man who was a Black Lives Matter protester. He shot him with his AR-15.
We talked about it.
Point blank. And this sick son of a bitch governor that we have pardons the man, releases him from prison after 4 years. If you and me would have shot somebody, we'd be on death row right now, let's face it.
Yep.
But some white dude kills a Black Lives Matter.
A racist white dude.
A racist white dude.
Who killed a white guy.
Pardoned. He gets pardoned. And so African Americans in this state and Latinos in this state, they could run this state if they got together and so chose to do so, and so chose to fight against these injustices in this state. I don't know how to wake people up. That's my fault. Well, I don't know how to anger people enough. You know that what happened to me in Uvalde, Texas, happened to those families. Was a wake-up call for me, because it changed my whole worldview. I changed my whole worldview for life and what my purpose was. But we got to wake up, Roland, because these people are killing us, and that's not hyperbole.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm a native of Houston. My parents are natives of Houston. My grandparents, maternal grandparents, migrated from Louisiana to Houston in the 30s. My paternal folks are from Texas, roots going to East Texas. And so although I work here, my homestead is still there in southern Dallas County. I go home to vote. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, I'm a constituent of hers. And here's the thing, I was there in Houston, working at the Houston Defender as an intern in 1990, when you had African-American Latinos who were fighting over who was going to be the police chief. And then I've seen the fire chief battles. I was there in Dallas when they were battling over the school district. One of the reasons why the Texas Education Agency took over the Houston Independent School District, because Latinos on the Houston School Board were trying to freeze out black folks. That infighting led to the TEA takeover right now, the largest school district in a country taken over by the state. And so you're absolutely right. But I think two things have to happen. I think there has to be, and this is just somebody from the outside, I think there has to be an internal Latino conversation because, and I've got Paola Ramos, a bunch of other books, John Leguizamo has talked about this here. You have some Latinos who identify as white and who don't identify as brown, who are about assimilation. So you got to have that internal conversation. And then the twofer conversation, and I believe there needs to be real town halls around the state, and I will be happy to come back, moderate them, broadcast them, do whatever. Well, we got to put black folks and Latinos in the room together and say, yo, the numbers are there if we actually align, but trust me, we ain't in power if we are sitting here fighting one another, and why MAGA Republicans in Texas, Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, are destroying the future for our nieces and nephews and our children, and it's going to be a screwed up future if we do not align.
No, that's right. And I'll give you a third point about the Latino conversation. We have a lot of young men that are switching to the other side to vote for this MAGA agenda. I would hope that by now what people are seeing with this man is that they're seeing that they were wrong, first off. And it's okay, you can come back into the fold. We certainly need you so that's an internal Latino conversation. But I think that the bigger point here is those same executive position jobs. Just imagine if you had people of color running this state.
Six-figure jobs that changes families and lineage. Now you're talking about power. Now you're talking about going from those positions, running for higher office. It changes the entire ball game. And that's why I'm fighting all these federal firings, because 20% of the federal government black, 10% of the corporate workforce white. We couldn't get corporate jobs, so we looked at the federal government. When they slash the federal jobs, you are slashing black wealth, because that's the place where you have more black people with six-figure salaries. And so this thing is way deeper than folks get. And so listen, I'm going to have my producers give you my cell phone. I was talking to Representative Tellerico. I'm totally opposed to that voucher scam. I'm a school choice supporter, but that's an absolute scam. It's happening there. But thank you for speaking directly to these white Republicans and putting the numbers on the table to force them to have to face it, because he looked like a deer in headlights when you hit him with those numbers, and he was just blah, blah, blah. He didn't know what to say.
Roland, thank you very much. I appreciate what you've done, not just for this state, but for this country. We've got to keep fighting back. We've got to keep fighting back together, and we've got to wake some people up and get them to vote, because that's our AR-15. That's our gun, is that vote. And we can change the world if we can get people to do that in the right way. 2.1 million eligible Latinos in Texas are unregistered, and Texas has the largest number of eligible black voters of any state in America. But what I keep saying, we got to get them registered, and then we got to get them voting at 70% capacity in order to win. So, Senator, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thank you, my friend.
Y'all, I told y'all about this clip I was going to play. Man, I saw this. We all knew this. We all knew this here, okay? But, man, I saw this video, and I'm trying to figure out how even one Republican didn't go, damn, we don't need to vote for this dude here. If y'all want to see somebody who's grossly unqualified, roll it.
Mr. Donahue, what is the maximum number of lawyers that you have supervised in your experience as an associate in a law firm?
Thank you for your question, Senator. It varies, but it was typically anywhere from 6, usually 8, up to 10 with summer associates as well.
All lawyers?
Not all lawyers, including summer associates.
Okay. What was the maximum number of lawyers you supervised in your job at the solar company?
None, Senator. Not at the solar company.
In your work as an associate in the Buffalo law firm, did you hold yourself out as an environmental attorney?
As an environmental lawyer, I did.
You spent 1 year and 6 months practicing law for that firm in Buffalo, correct?
I was located in that firm in Buffalo, yes, Senator.
Yeah. And you were terminated by that firm after 1 year and 6 months?
That is correct, Senator. If I may just add some color to that.
Well, I have pretty short time, so we can follow up with QFRs, because I promise you there'll be QFRs on this. Have you practiced law anywhere else other than that as an associate in the firm that terminated you and in the solar company where you supervised no lawyers?
Senator, I have not.
Apart from your associate experience in Buffalo and the solar company, have you practiced law in any other place?
I have not, Senator, but I was at the agency before in the first Trump administration.
Not in a legal position?
That's correct, Senator.
Have you ever taken a deposition?
I have not, Senator. This is probably the closest I've ever come to that.
Have you ever tried a case to verdict?
No, Senator. In the firm and at the solar company, we relied on, in the solar company, we relied on outside counsel.
So you were providing inside advice at the solar council rather than active litigation work?
It was an in-house counsel role, yes. But
have you ever argued a motion?
I have not, Senator. But as you
know what a motion in limine is?
I do vaguely, yes.
Well, you should have been better prepped because John Kennedy asks this question.
Yes.
Have you ever authored and signed a legal pleading?
I have not, Senator. But
there was a gap of several years between your graduation from law school and when you entered the bar in Washington, D.C. During that period, did you take the bar and fail to pass?
I did one time, Senator, yes, but there was
jurisdiction?
What, sorry?
In what jurisdiction did you take the bar and fail to pass?
Senator, but there was a gap before I actually took the bar. I wasn't sure if I actually wanted to go and practice law, to be frank with you.
Under what circumstances would you counsel the EPA administrator to violate a court order?
Senator, thank you for that. I would never counsel the EPA administrator to violate a court order.
Under oath, can you assure us now that EPA is presently in compliance with the federal court decisions by Judge Ali Khan and Judge McConnell right now?
Senator, I believe that the agency is.
When a public official makes public accusations of criminal activity with no credible evidence to support the accusations, what legal liabilities and concerns does that raise?
Senator, as you mentioned in opening, potentially defamation, that sort of thing. But I'm not a criminal investigator. I'm not at the Department of Justice. I don't handle the various aspects of that criminal probe, so I'm not privy to that information.
There is an internal memorandum out of the agency's counsel office that relates that a significant number of grants were terminated based on a significant error, agency's words, in the terms and conditions for those grants. As the Washington Post reported today, an agency lawyer warned officials that they had cited contractual language that did not apply to many of the grants the EPA had ended in recent weeks. Grants had been terminated on grounds that they no longer fit the agency's priorities, referring to a clause in their grants' general terms and conditions that applied only to grants issued between August 13, 2020 and September 30, 2024. And almost half of the terminated grants were finalized outside of that relevant period. Have the grants impacted by this significant legal error been restored to the recipients?
Senator, I've seen the reporting on that. We received your letter, in fact, 2 letters yesterday on this. I was not on that email. I think it was an email, not a memorandum. But I think we're working to track an answer down for you on that.
My time has expired.
Scott, that man probably wouldn't even gotten to a sit-down interview with you.
What was his position he was being reviewed upon in the committee? What was his position?
He was
a legal position?
He was going to run
the environmental agency, EPA?
I think he was going to run the legal department of the EPA.
No.
Hold on. Let me see. Hold up. Yes, he was nominated to supervise 200 EPA lawyers.
Okay, so here's the problem with the lack of experience, especially in lawyering and giving legal advice and counsel. The problem is, without the experience, you don't know what you don't know, including hiring people who are competent around you to advise you, one, but you don't even know what you don't know. So people can come to you and advise you, but they may have agendas, and because you don't have the experience, you don't know whether they got an agenda or not, whether it's been cross-referenced or cross-checked or thoroughly researched before you go give.
God, the man had never even done a deposition.
Well, I'm getting to that. So I'm talking from a management standpoint. He's never done a deposition. He's never signed a legal pleading. Now, he can argue that DOJ would be doing all the litigation, but to go to DOJ, you've got to brief DOJ, and you got to be able to give them advice and counsel or strategize with them on what the best approach is. Otherwise, they're going to just do whatever they want to do without you being able to have that experience. This isn't nuance. This is real and practical experience. So, no, he's not qualified to be general counsel for EPA, at least not based on that clip and not based on that testimony. And if they're getting rid of all the non-appointees in the legal office of EPA, that's even worse. Because, you got cats and women in those positions, been there 20, 30 years, and they can recite the law or decisions off the top of their head and brief you on it in a way that you find reliable. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm laying out for your listening public as to why this is a problem beyond the fact it just borders on the nonsensical.
Okay, I'm going to translate, Mustafa, what Scott just said. Mustafa, I'm going to translate what Scott just said, and I have been trying my best not to cuss. A lot of our followers be like, Roland, please don't cuss. I got my kids watching. So y'all, do me a favor. Turn the TV down for 10 seconds. I'm going to start counting, and you can turn the television down. Because, see, in this moment right here, I have to say it in a way that is a proper translation for what Scott just said. So if y'all do not want to hear me cuss, I'm going to do a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn the volume down. The translation, Mustafa, for Scott, all that he just said is, he don't know what the fuck he doing. He ain't got no fucking clue what he is doing. Y'all can turn the volume now back up. Mustafa, you worked in the EPA. This is a perfect example of somebody grossly unqualified. Anthony, go to my iPad, and guess what? Here's the headline. Republicans back EPA pick despite questions about qualifications. Now, for all y'all who were wondering, oh my goodness, who are those Republicans? So when you hear these assholes talking about this here are the individuals. This is the majority. These are the Republicans. Shelley Moore Capito, out of West Virginia, Kevin Kramer, Cynthia Loomis, John Curtis, punk-ass Lindsey Graham, who kisses so much MAGA ass, he's now brown-faced, Dan Sullivan, Pete Ricketts, Roger Wicker of Mississippi, John Boozman, John Husted. These are the Republicans. So guess what? I bet not hear now one of these white Republicans talk about DEI and merit and who's qualified when they voted for a grossly unqualified white man. It ain't even a conversation.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, I worked with both Democrat and Republican leads of Office of General Counsel. All of them were talented. You know, people come with different policies and then they have to make recommendations to the administrator. This person, I can't even believe that they're sitting there going through that confirmation process. I mean, you know, I've lectured on environmental law everywhere from Howard to Harvard, you know, everybody who's in between. And for him not to have the experience to even be sitting in that chair to be given consideration says something about this administration and how they feel about protecting our communities and our country from toxic pollution. From this individual would have to be a part of conversations with a number of folks well-versed on the legal side of the equation from business and industry, as well as nonprofit organizations. You know, for him not to understand the federal acquisition regulations that are a part of, you know, some of the things that we see going on right now around some of the contracts and grants that are out there that, you know, are going through these changes that are currently going on. I can't imagine this individual sitting there and having any real knowledge about the Clean Air Act or the Clean Water Act or RCRA or a number of the different acts that the Environmental Protection Agency Foundation is built upon. And that's scary. Because, you know, this is someone, and, you know, Scott talked about sort of the dance between the Department of Justice and EPA, and that's just one side of the equation. I would be very, very concerned with a number of the other sets of conversations that he would have to have with individuals who know the game and are looking for opportunities to exploit it. So the person who sits in that chair, at least in all those folks who I work with, they were knowledgeable in a very deep way about the law, but they also understood, you know, the different things that people do to try and, you know, find the best positioning for their, you know, whoever they're representing. And this person is woefully unexperienced to be a part of those conversations, especially since we've seen not only at EPA, but a number of other agencies and departments that, you know, they've hollowed out those respective entities. So he would be there pretty much like a babe in the woods, and people would just devour him, even with them not actually caring about, you know, the environment and public health.
Right.
This is a very dangerous situation for these, you know, these representatives to even give this person consideration.
So Derek, somebody in the chat said, Roland, please cuss. Derek, here's the thing that's crazy. This story about them picking, it was April 2nd. It's April 8th. Chuck Schumer, what the hell are you doing? I would be amplifying this story like crazy. With them running around talking about who not qualified, all that sort of stuff, I would be going, how in the hell can y'all advance this pathetic? I would make this white man, Sean Donahue, the poster child of white privilege. I would be throwing this in the face of Elon, JD, and Trump. What the hell is I saw this clip on Twitter. I ain't seen no press release. Didn't nobody hype this up? This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about when you have Democrats who are slew-footed, slow, who don't understand in terms of how you move. I saw this the other day. Ken Martin put out a tweet where he said that, oh, here it is, yesterday. Let me show y'all this tweet, then let you comment. We are launching a new DNC war room. We're going to compete in every information space and put Trump and the Republicans on the defense every day. At this very moment, Trump is actively wrecking our country. He can't go unchallenged. Say, dog, this is a perfect example. If I'm him, I'm saying to Democrats, don't y'all say another damn word about merit and DEI with this pathetically unqualified man. His ass will be the poster child right now, Derek, of every Democrat.
You're absolutely right, Roland, but he won't be the only one, right?
No, but you got to start one, but you got to talk about one at least.
At least talk about one, right? But this is the most inept, unfit, unqualified cabinet ever for 248 years. The most inept, incompetent, unqualified, unfit cabinet, starting from the president to this individual. They continue to demonstrate, Roland, which is the point that I appreciate you highlighting this evening, because merit has always been a qualifier for us. We always had to get 2 or 3 degrees. We always had to be top of our class. We always, right? I remember reading Earl Gray's senior book, and he was talking about the 2 sets of rules. And you also expounded upon that a few weeks ago when Robert Kennedy was going through the nomination process. And I remember you saying, Robert Kennedy is not even in healthcare. This is the same individual, Roland, that advised folks how to deal with measles by taking vitamin A and cod liver oil. And now those same children are having liver problems.
Right.
The measles outbreak.
But here's, okay, I got all that. But here's my point. I want to stay focused on this guy, because this is my whole point. You can't make the argument broad. You have to narrow it. Scott, the point here is this here. You have to make someone the poster child. You have to hold somebody as the example. And I'm saying what Democrats should be doing, Democrats should be hitting these fools back saying, y'all actually have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to talk about DEI and ending DEI programs and people being unqualified. Here is a grossly unqualified, incompetent person to lead the EPA's legal room of 200 lawyers. The man ain't never supervised more. You saw how he even said 6 to 8, and they all weren't even lawyers. Hell, I done talked to more lawyers than his ass likely has.
Well, here's the thing. As an associate at a small firm in Buffalo, because there are no really big firms in Buffalo, he was an associate.
Damn, Scott. Damn, Scott, that's some shade.
Yeah, I know, but
damn.
6 or 8 he supervised. There may have been 1, maybe 2 attorneys at best, because as an associate, and you've only been there a year and a half, you're not really supervising anybody. It's not like you're a partner. But here's the thing.
He lasted 1 year.
I know, but don't miss this part. Think about, there's an arrogance part to this on the Republican side. He wasn't even well prepared. They could care less about his qualifications, but they could care less about him being prepared to either shield or cover his lack of experience to be, if he was young, if he was brilliant, if he was competent, and he was well prepared, he would present 10 times better. But they didn't even prep him. In fact, Sheldon House even told him, said, you should be more well prepared, because those 2 orders, judicial orders or decisions used by Sheldon, I was waiting for Sheldon to tell us the holding in those cases. I guarantee you he didn't know the holdings in those cases. And he gave him somewhat of the holding, and he still was fumbling through it. And so it's the arrogance that jumps out at me of not being well prepared, on top of the base level incompetence that you want to try to cover up. You got to try to cover it. You're in the U.S. Senate. My goodness.
But what that is, it is sheer arrogance that, you know what, we can just throw anybody, and the Republicans not going to say a word, and we could just go, they're going to sit here and do whatever I want. Again, this make him the poster child. I got to go ahead. I got to hit y'all with this here because I'm just.
Let us show up unprepared.
Hold on. Let me be real clear.
They crucified.
Hold on. First of all, we wouldn't even have the chance to show up unprepared because we would be unprepared to even get nominated. I got to go ahead and do this. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of her ass. I'm sorry. I keep telling folk that these idiots in MAGA, this ain't nothing but a TV show to them, okay? The whole country's a TV show. And Kristi Noem really thinks she Farrah Fawcett.
Go Farrah.
I think she's figuring out that they trying to recast the reboot of Charlie's Angels. And so she's like, forget Drew Barrymore, forget Cameron Diaz, and forget who was the Asian woman. I forgot her name. We ain't seen her in a long time. Lisa Liu. Forget her. I think Kristi Noem is really trying out for a new role. So her ignorant ass released this video, and I love this tagline, nice to see the Secretary of Homeland Security all equipped and prepared, including her hair extensions, fake eyelashes, and wearing a $60,000 Rolex watch to hunt down the bad guys. Maybe it's with the success of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys. She wants to be the star of Bad Girls. I don't know what the hell it is. Y'all, watch this bullshit.
Here we are with Marco and Brian today. They're letting me roll with them. We're going to go out and pick up somebody who I think is got charges of human trafficking. We earlier had an op that swept up somebody who was wanted for murder. So appreciate the good work that they do every day, and we appreciate them working to make America safe.
Ain't nobody sitting here looking for your trifling ass to be out there all dressed up like you in the movie, holding a damn gun like that. And in fact, let me go ahead and find it. I saw Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego drop this. He responded. Let me go ahead and hold on. Don't pull it up yet. Don't pull it up yet, because I want to blow it up. Because this cracked me the hell up when he gave some commentary on her trifling ass, standing up there looking like a damn fool, holding this gun up. And so hold on one second. And this is a Democrat. You can tell he loves guns. I think I can tell if this is Ruben Gallego or if this is Robert Patillo. But he said, number one, he said, close your ejection port. Number two, if you have no rounds in the chamber, why do you have a magazine inserted? Number three, if you have rounds in the chamber or in the magazine, why are you flagging the guy next to you? Number four, stop deporting people without due process. I mean, this is some silly shit, Derek. She literally is playing dress up every damn day. She done went through the entire Department of Homeland Security costume department because we done seen photos of her ass on horses, on boats, and helicopters. I mean, she is straight up trying to get cast in a Hollywood movie.
Hey, Roland, she wants to be the modern day G.I. Jane Part 2. But the reality is, as a retired military officer, he's exactly right. She is holding the weapon wrong. She's exposing everything that you should not do. This clearly demonstrates again, which is the point of your previous segment, and that is they are unfit and unqualified individuals. And when you have that, they continue to demonstrate that they don't care. They don't understand policies. They don't care about policies. They don't care about national security, and they don't care about the person they're standing next to, because I'll be afraid, Roland, if that weapon was fully locked and loaded and ready to go, that individual very well may not be breathing anymore, because she can very well discharge a weapon that would take him out.
Yeah, so again, listen, I done shot a gun twice. That's the most overrated shit I've ever seen in my life. I shot a machine gun at the FBI Citizens Academy. I was like, man, I'm going to play golf. Y'all can have this bullshit. It just didn't do nothing for me. I mean, nothing, not damn thing. I was like, this it? But I got to give Senator Gallego, not only he popped that tweet out, Mustafa, he also did this video here. Hilarious as hell, watch.
You seen this picture? Let me explain to you how this is all cosplay. Number one, anyone that's ever been in combat, whether it's Marines, been an officer or anything else like that, you would never wear a flak jacket like that. Sloppily put on. It's gonna get snagged on something if you try to breach a door or go through any kind of very high intensity situation. Number two, what's going on with the ejection port there? Either means that there's a round-in chamber or you're just being slapped and keeping it open. Number three, you have a magazine inserted. That tells me you likely have a round-in chamber. And if you have a round-in chamber, the most important thing you have to always dealing with weapons handling is you have to assume every weapon is loaded. And you're pointing that weapon directly at that guy's head to the left-hand side. So that is a problem, Secretary Noem. And number four, the bigger and biggest problem of all, stop deporting people without due process. You continue to deport innocent men and women that have rights to stay here, and you're deporting them out of this country when they should be here and they have a right to stay here.
And we know damn well that if a Democrat was holding that gun that same way, these the Second Amendment lovers would be losing their mind, Mustafa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he hit it on the head. I was sitting here thinking also that this administration is big on cosplay. I mean, you got all these folks who have no idea what they're doing. They
okay, hold on. I'm just going just one suggestion, Frat. Here's the deal. Average people don't use cosplay. I'm just saying, average people don't talk that way. We should say, this ain't no movie. Everybody understand that. No, I'm just serious. I'm serious. When I heard him say it, I was like, cosplay? What the fuck is cosplay? I'm like, I don't use cosplay. I'm like, was that Bill Cosby in a play? I'm like, what is cosplay? That's just me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. But I would say a lot of younger people actually do understand what cosplay is because it's a part of the lexicon. But
they got to say it's a movie.
What is it? Well, what is it? I ain't never heard of it either.
Cosplay is when people like dress up and pretend that they are a character.
So can we just say play dress up?
Well, you can say dress
studio
up.
gangster,
Finish and say.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I mean, the reality is that, I grew up on gun ranges. So I kept hearing my father's voice in my ear when they were breaking down all the different things that they were doing incorrectly. But besides that, the real reality of the situation is that these people are unserious about protecting our country. They're unserious about people's rights. They're unserious about so many things. And it just manifests itself in how these people stand in front of the cameras and want you to believe that they were actually a part of, an investigation or actually a part of taking somebody down when they probably were sitting in some office somewhere. And then after whatever took place, then they show up. So we just need to make sure that we understand this game that's going on and that we have something to do about it. And if you don't like what you're seeing, if you don't like people being deported unjustly, if you don't like having individuals who have no experience, who have no merit in the positions that they are, then do something about it in the midterms.
Scott?
Yeah, I always crack up when I see Kristi Noem with the picture with the prisoners behind her, and then she's got the baseball cap on, or she's got the cowboy cap on. I mean, it's the marketing of MAGAism, the marketing of Trump. There's no depth and substance to any of the agencies or even to Donald Trump.
Hey, did you see this one here? Is this her Cowboy Carter look?
Oh, yeah.
See, again, though, that's all. Go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of makeup on. I mean, to Republican men, she's hot to them. And this kind of bad girl or good cop female chasing down bad guys. It's all about building an image that these directors who fan out and do the talk shows, they're all selling MAGA. They're all selling Trump. If you really think about it, many of them aren't talking about depth and substance. They're just marketing. Everything about the administration is marketing, whether it's Caroline Leavitt or the heads of these agencies, or even Donald Trump. All he does is market. Every time he does a press conference, with or without an agency head, or if he's presenting something, he riffs on all of these talking points and these conflicts or what do you call it, his what he hates about America, and it's just reinforced marketing, marketing, marketing. And people who are not college educated, who are the least lost and left out, poor working white Americans, or Fox 5 or Fox News, they listen to all of this rhetoric that is just rhetoric. He speaks in hyperbole, and he reinforces it every chance he gets. They're rapists and murderers, and we got to get the Venezuela's gangs out. And he's just riffing, and it's all lies. Most of the things coming out are not just untruths, but they're just lies, and the data is counter to it. But it comes in such overwhelming fashion, even the media can't just keep up with it. You talk about Melman having a rapid response team. That's good. But the Republican rhetoric and lies just comes so fast, you forget about all the nonsense that they say. But his voters, and even those who are not his voters, just eat it up, find it as true. He's got the power of the presidency behind him. Nobody challenges it. And so it becomes his truth and the truth of his voters and stuff. It's an amazing marketing machine more than anything, but it's based in falsity, and you can't keep up with it. That's one of the best. He's one of the best marketeers there are. Until we keep up with it, and until he drives us into a recession, Democrats have got to be able to show, blame him for the recession, blame him for inflation, right? But give Republicans an alternative. Democrats and all voters an alternative to him, not an alternative that they don't like. Not only blame him, but tell them their story and how they're going to make it better for them. Until we do that, I'm sorry, the Republicans can continue to get reelected if they're better marketers than the Democrats, and right now they are.
But this is the point that I was just making when we talk about holding that guy up. You have to understand narrative. Also, we're living in the age of social media, Derek. This is not the days of newspapers where it comes out the next day, radio and television. It's now immediate. If you are not crafting a message that has memes, using photos, using videos, then you're not telling a story. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm saying I would make Sean Donahue the face of no talent, no merit, and I would say, oh, you dumbasses want to attack DEI, but y'all voted for this fool. I would embarrass them. I would beat his ass across the head every single day and say, this is one of the most unqualified people that have ever come before us, and you fools just voted for him. But they are too nice about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, again, Roland, you're absolutely spot on, and I agree with Scott and Mustafa. You know, the only 2 points I would add, Roland, to the point about social media and pushing that narrative is that we'll be telling the truth. See, that's the difference between Don the Con. Every time I get on social media, I call him Don the Con. I do not call him a great marketer. He is not a marketer. I'm in marketing. That's what I do. You know, for
like
a living.
Scaramucci. I know Scott's got to go, but I'm gonna show this here. Scaramucci, hold up, I gotta do it. No, don't go to it yet. I got no. Again, no, because literally I was sitting here, I was looking at these Twitter comments as he was talking, and I saw this. He's a perfect example that when you talk, because you said marketing, literally as you were talking. And I know this is Anthony Scaramucci, and we know he was a Trump supporter in the first time. But this, we talk about marketing. Matter of fact, here to go. Hey, Keenan, do me a favor. Put this on a T-shirt and put it on our site. MAGA chose between woke or broke. They chose broke. But but I'm saying from a marketing standpoint, Scott, Derek, and Mustafa, that's what I'm talking about. Republicans talking bumper stickers. There you go. Oh, y'all didn't like woke, y'all like broke. Boom. Yeah. Scott, no, you got to go. All right, Kappa. Later. Oh, and Scott, thank you.
I gave you money today, and you didn't mention money.
No. See, Scott, right there. That's how arrogant your little ass is. See, I was just about to thank you for your, literally, I'm about to thank you, but your little ego, you ain't thanked me publicly for my donation. I was literally just about to say, y'all, today, Scott,
Come on, let's have it.
No,
give it to me.
I'm not going to do it till after you. No, I'm not going to do it till after you sign off.
Say, thank you, Kappa man.
No, I'm not going to do it till after you sign off. See?
Thank you for
See, right there.
Thank you for your support.
Are you now giving
Thank you, thank you,
Are you now? Are you now Marvin Sapp? You gonna lock the doors?
Come on, one time.
You now Marvin? You now your fellow Kappa Marvin Sapp? You gonna lock the doors?
Can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, dog. Come on. Just thank you one time.
I'm not gonna do it till after you sign off. See, you begging for it. See, if you had simply allowed me to do it, I would have done it. But it's two other alphas on this panel, and we don't bow down.
All right, guys, one love. Where's my alpha sign? There you go. There it is. All right now.
You've been wanting to do that your whole life, and guess what? Hey, go ahead and throw it up, Mustafa. Guess what? I'm telling you right now, Scott, and I'm posting that shit on social. You throwing the alpha sign, so I'm just letting you know it's gonna be a screen. It's gonna be a screenshot. Go ahead, Mustafa. Go ahead, Derek. It's gonna be a screenshot of Scott wishing he could wear the black and old gold. Okay.
There you go.
There you go. Now get on out of here.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, Scott. Thanks a lot. Derek, go ahead and make your point. Then I'm going to go do this last story. Go ahead.
Yeah, we definitely have to do a better job on making sure we tie that social media piece, because not only will be able to frame the conversation and the narrative, but the algorithm, I mean, Roland, you constantly talk about that algorithm piece as well. And so every time I get on social media, I post things like hashtag, Don the Con, hashtag convicted felon, hashtag, 34 felonies. And that algorithm picks up. So every time I get on my Facebook and Twitter and other platforms, that algorithm continue to follow not only what I'm doing, but everybody that follows me. And so we got to frame that conversation. And the second and last point, Roland, is this. We have to do this now more than ever before, because that midterm will make or break us, because in 2030, we get a chance to redraw the congressional lines across the United States. And the last thing we need at the state level, we got a little mini Trumper, and he thinks he's going to be running for governor next year. And he has pushed all of Trump's agendas. And so we got to look at this thing twofold, both at the federal level and at the state level.
Racist Marjorie Taylor Greene married a racist. We showed y'all the video. Roll the video, y'all. This is video of her racist ex-husband who was literally cussing out Muslim women who were just trying to play. Roll some of this.
That's really good. Okay. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
No one brought anything to you, brother.
I'm bringing it to you. I don't want your shit.
Oh.
Nobody really wants your shit here.
Did we bother you personally, though?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can.
But see, like, y'all want to kill gays. Y'all want to do all kind of crazy. Where y'all from? What country?
It doesn't matter where we're from. It does not, though. Why does it matter to you, then?
It does, because you're worshiping a false god.
No.
Yes, it is.
Are you Christian? All right, that's...
Well, racist Perry Greene decided to issue an apology speaking near a mosque. Here's the bigot.
Okay.
Did nobody check the audio? Okay, well, I don't know. Anyway, so So Lil Perry, y'all, Lil Perry went before the cameras and he apologized. Let's see if I can actually play it myself. Where he stood before with one of the women, and he spoke, and he was all sorrowful for his actions, for his racist ways. Give me a second. I'm about to play it. All right, here we go. So that was a news conference that took place. It was a 16-minute news conference. Now, we're not going to play the full news conference, but this is one of the women speaking.
Online. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. My name is Nazi Khanzada, and I serve as the communications manager for the Georgia chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, the nation's largest Muslim civil rights and advocacy group. Today, we will not be endorsing the view.
Perry was sitting here offering his apology. Now, look, he didn't speak long. The little racist didn't speak long. So watch this here. Go to it. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. I came today just to meet with the young ladies that I was mean to and treated disrespectfully about their religion and about what they were doing, and I just wanted them to know that I humbly apologize to them, because nobody should be treated that way, and that's not the right way for us to treat anybody with any differences. And that's what we came to do, and hopefully they'll find it in their hearts to forgive me, and that we shouldn't allow that in our society. So, but thank you, everyone.
Mr. Greene will not be taking any questions.
First of all, we should not allow it in our society. Oh, Mustafa, your ass did it.
I mean, what are you going to say about these types of folks? I mean, it's the hate is so deep inside of them that they often don't even understand what they're doing, they understand what they're saying, but they don't even understand what God is actually all about. It's amazing. Religious hate crimes are up in the country. There are a couple of different studies out there that show that right now. We know that very few people often talk about Islamophobia, and we know that there are increases that have happened there. Of course, anti-Semitism, we know what's going on in that space. And these individuals, they're so antiquated in the way that they think, that they continue to hold on to all this various type of hate. And unfortunately, when somebody sees somebody of his level because of who he used to be married to making these types of things, it makes others think that it's okay for them to do it as well. And then, of course, they hear this rhetoric, all the way up to the top. So we have to call it out where it is. And we've got to make sure that folks continue to push back. And there's a reason why we have hate crimes legislation. And I hope that those sisters are not only safe, but I hope that they also give some consideration to other steps that they might want to take.
The racist gonna racist.
Listen, I watched that live when it took place here in Georgia. And the very first thing that came to my mind, Roland, I said, I get it. This apology, but I personally think that racist apologies are insufficient. I think, especially when there is no clear demonstration of accountability. He didn't say that, hey, I'm going to spend 10, 20, 30 hours at the mosque. Nothing he said even added that he felt remorse, make it more meaningful. And so I just think that when we hear these kind of apologies, Roland, my humble opinion, we need to hold people accountable. We need to hold them accountable to the degree where their words will go beyond just simple words. It will actually transform their behavior. It will help contribute to push our society progressively forward, to make it more inclusive, make it more equitable. And so I just think his apology was just very empty.
I ain't accepting his apology at all. Now, the attorney representing the woman told a local TV station they are not seeking compensation, but are discussing the possibility of Greene donating to a nonprofit focused on containing Islamophobia and promoting education. That's letting his ass off lightly. Y'all, one of the nation's oldest HBCUs, St. Augustine's in North Carolina, is a target of 2 new lawsuits. Within the last 2 weeks, 2 major tech companies have filed lawsuits against the university, seeking more than $18 million in unpaid bills. These lawsuits come on the heels of St. Augustine recently losing its accreditation due to concerns over financial mismanagement and lack of oversight. One company, SBA Connect, says the university owes them more than $16 million. Yeah, I said that right. $16 million with regards to their IT infrastructure. Okay, what the hell? So when you look at the particular lawsuit, they lay out that they already had a contract, but then all of a sudden they decided to grab another person while they already have the contract. So this lawsuit actually kind of makes no sense. Again, the universities, the company says they owe them $16 million in early termination fees after defaulting on a contract 1 year after it was signed. Another local firm of area claims the university owes them $1.3 million for IT infrastructure services that are still being provided. See, this is why we're going there on Friday to talk about it. And we've invited university leadership. We've invited the Board of Trustees. Have they accepted our invitation? No, they have not. Now, anybody who knows us knows we support HBCUs. So if you're St. Augustine's and you're asking the public to help you throughout this situation, then you might want to be a hell of a lot more open and transparent with what is going on. So Friday, join us in Raleigh. We want to see all y'all out there. If you are friends, family, students, faculty, staff, you want to join us, come to Martin Street Baptist Church for the town hall taking place on Friday. Doors open at 5 p.m. This really is about giving people at St. Augustine, alumni and others, giving them a voice to what is going on, because the people who are leading St. Augustine, its board chair, its board of trustees, and its administration, that's what they're not doing. So we're going to absolutely be there. So looking forward to that. All right, folks. Let me thank Derek. Let me thank Mustafa for being on today's panel. Scott joined us as well. Let me thank Scott for his donation as well. We're going to close the show out this way. Reverend Bishop William Barber was one of the many speakers who spoke in D.C. on Saturday at the protests that were taking place led by Indivisible. There were a lot of different speakers. There were some people who spoke too damn long. Hey, I got to go ahead and say this right now. Congressman Jamie Raskin, please, I need y'all to sit y'all ass down. Do y'all understand that Jamie Raskin, when he spoke on Saturday, spoke for 37 damn minutes? Let me be real clear. If you are speaking at a rally and they got like 50 other speakers, didn't nobody ask you to give a sermon? Did nobody ask for no keynote address? That's like the person who gets an award at a banquet and you the keynote speaker, they want to get up there and talk for 30 minutes. They didn't come pay to actually see your ass. Just get your award, say thank you, give your 60-second comments, sit the hell down. I'm tired of these people inviting politicians to these events and they want to give long damn speeches. You don't even have that. Listen, 30 minutes, 37 minutes is utterly ridiculous, okay? Yeah, I had to go ahead and say it. So here's what Bishop William Barber had to say at Saturday's rally.
57 years ago, on April the 3rd, Reverend Dr. King said the night before he died, nothing would be more tragic than for us to turn back now. God help us not to turn back from the vision of our Constitution, that is to establish justice, to promote the general welfare, to provide for the common defense, and to ensure domestic tranquility. When Trump and Musk and Johnson and their minions are signing unconstitutional executive orders, unconstitutionally firing people, trying to pass an unjust budget, and wrongfully raising tariffs that will not only hurt Wall Street, but back street and side streets and side roads. When they are doing this, we must say every day, we will stand up in truth and raise our voices and votes and declare, take your hands off of our democracy. Their foolish budget plans could remove 36 million people from health care and millions of poor and low-wage children from school lunch and refuse to raise the living wage for 14 million low-wage working American people from $7.25 to $17 an hour. We must pray for God to give us the courage to stand and say, take your hands off Medicaid. Take your hands off Take your hands off our voting rights. Take your hand off our living wages. Take your hand off our public education. Take your hands off of our lives. When greedy technocrats with a supremacy philosophy want to rule the country, we with moral vigor and righteous indignation must stand up and say no. We cannot be at ease in America. History is pushing us, the present is demanding us, and the future is calling us. I said in 2018 that every age must have a movement of people that will build a moral fusion mass movement that stands together. Because issues before us are not about left versus right or Republican versus Democrat, but about right versus wrong and justice versus injustice. And with the help of the divine, we must unite more and more, declaring that we are black, we are white, we are Latino, we are Asian, we are Native, we are young, we are old, we are North, we are South, we are East, we are West, we are gay, we are straight, we are trans, we are America, and we ain't going nowhere. God give us the strength. We will not allow a budget that goes after the policies that lift the poor and low-wage workers of this nation. We will not accept the attacks on federal workers. We will not accept them, not now, not ever. And we will prayerfully, with no equivocation, no capitulation, no weakness, declare with all that is holy and divine, we must not bow. We must reclaim our government. We must pledge ourselves to the work of the third reconstruction of America. We must lift every voice and sing together. We must lead with love and repent of the apathy that has too often slipped in. We cannot bow. Finally, they are afraid of you. Trump and Musk, who want to be dictators and want to be kings and lords, they are afraid of the power of love and truth and justice. They are afraid of your unity and your diversity. Well, let's keep them afraid until they change. My friends, this is way bigger than just a party issue. This is an outright battle for civilization. And they all have your power to come together. And they are betting that we will be afraid of them. But this is the time that we must increase, intensify, and embolden our agitation for what is right. We must declare that the only way a wannabe king can be king is if we bow, but bowing down is not an option. Our knees aren't made for bowing. We are not going to bow to power-drunk, neo-fascist extremists. We only bow to God. And so we must stand tall. When they attack everyday people with mean, hurtful policies, we must stand tall and say, take your hands off of our lives. So stand up to the technocrats. To stand tall. To stand tall. It's time for the people to stand tall. We must mobilize our righteous bodies and our voices and our hearts by the millions. We must stand tall because bowing down is not an option. It might take mass call-ins, but stand tall. It might take mass sit-ins, but stand tall. It might take nonviolent civil disobedience, and they might arrest us, but stand tall. It might take mass pray-ins, but stand tall. It might take class action lawsuits, but stand tall. It might take having a labor strike day on election day so that working people can vote. But stand tall. Stand tall in every precinct. Stand tall in every voting district. Stand tall in every city. Stand tall in every state. Stand tall in truth. Stand tall in love. Stand tall in justice. Stand tall and demand that they take their hands off our democracy, and the God of the universe will be with us. Stand tall. Bowing down. Say it with me. Bowing down. Bowing down. Bowing down is not an option. Stand. Stand. Stand.
Roll Chronicles. One of the folks who's not scared to bow down is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Time for the Crockett Chronicles. Well, they had a congressional hearing today, and trust me, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett was not playing around when it comes to Donald Trump having his fat ass on a golf course every damn weekend. Roll it.
I now recognize Ms. Crockett from Texas for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. And I can tell you one thing that is crumbling for the city of D.C. was that continuing resolution that defunded approximately $1 billion from them. But I will focus on today's hearing. The Republicans' recklessness and chaotic approach to reducing the size of government has shown us what we've already known. Concepts of a plan don't work. This is the committee's fourth hearing, and still no one from the so-called Department of Government Efficiency has testified before this committee about their plans to break the federal government, because as it turns out, breaking the federal government doesn't just hurt people you don't like. It's not just going to be Democrats who miss out on Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, or only Democratic veterans who miss out on their VA benefits. Their approach will negatively impact all Americans. So it's unfortunate that Republicans have taken a seemingly bipartisan issue and included it as part of their scam to subsidize tax giveaway for billionaires. They haven't proposed anything that will improve the efficiency of the government. Instead, they have put the country on a path to a recession and implemented the largest tax increase on Americans in decades through Trump's tariffs. This hearing is their latest attempt to try to convince the American people that dismantling public-facing agencies will somehow improve government efficiency. Let me tell you, it won't. There's nothing efficient about terminating leases for IRS taxpayer assistance centers during tax season, nor dismantling farmers' support offices in rural communities while farmers are trying to survive Trump's tariffs. And just like their trade policy, there isn't any logic or strategy behind the Trump administration's reductions in force or accelerated disposal of federally owned property. It has been discussed that managing federal property has been on GAO's high-risk list for more than 2 decades. Currently, GAO has almost 60 recommendations that the administration could fully implement, but decided to ignore. And I'm going to veer off for 2 seconds because all I kept hearing was fire. Fire, fire, fire is what I heard. And as I heard fire, it seems like we are talking about an administration that has been hell-bent on firing government workers. They are hell-bent on engaging in fire sales of our government buildings. And while we are at it, they are lighting the Social Security on fire, Medicaid on fire, Medicare on fire, 401ks on fire, Department of Education on fire. And instead, what we need to light on fire are Trump's tariffs. In fact, we could probably go a little bit further and fire this incompetent administration. But if we are going to talk about efficiency and worry about some solar paneled whatevers, let's talk about the fact that as of March 30th, Trump's golfing has cost us approximately $26 million. And the last time I checked, we're not getting anything in return for that. So I will get back on my remarks, but I just wanted to point out that maybe we need to talk about the president and his golfing habits. In fact, he decided that he was going to golf as the markets were tanking. He decided he was going to golf instead of receiving 4 heroes who died serving this country. He has decided that he wanted to play games while the rest of us are really trying to make sure that we can serve the American people. So, Mr. Maroney, you were quoted in the New York Times article dated March 17th, stating that it is important for officials to have a plan to generate the most savings and that, quote, all of these moving parts point to the need for some deliberate planning. Did the administration consult with GAO regarding their plans to dispose of hundreds of federally owned buildings?
No.
In your testimony, you highlight that one of the core issues associated with managing federal property is the lack of reliable data to support decision-making. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would reducing GSA's workforce by 50% improve data gathering and analysis?
I cannot say they're
That's perfectly fine. We know that we need experts and not idiots, but Mr. Kendall, we will move on. In your written testimony, you state some of the actions of this administration suggest that the administration is not following a strategy designed to save taxpayer money and that the administration seems to ignore agency's mission integrity. Why do you think that?
In the list
You got
of
20 seconds.
in the list of projects, there were a couple score Social Security offices, IRS, taxpayer service offices, which those agencies, those end user agencies wanted, and yet the administration is canceling those leases. So it does imperil mission accomplishment.
Thank you so much. I'll be back.
She's right. $26 million for them to fly home every weekend. And last weekend, when those 4 soldiers, their bodies were returned to Dover, Donald Trump was playing in a golf tournament at his course. That's who that punk is. So that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a golfing fanatic who's in the Oval Office. And every time he flies, massive amounts of money being spent. It's costing taxpayers $3 to $4 million every single weekend. And he had the audacity to complain about President Biden. That's who he is. All right, folks, that is it for us. I certainly appreciate y'all watching today's show. Thank you so very much. If y'all want to support the work that we do, we don't get to have $3 to $4 million of government money coming our way like Donald Trump does, enriching himself. So your support is critical to our success. To join our Bring the Funk fan club, contribute via Cash App. Use the Stripe QR code. You can also use this for credit cards as well. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com. So again, if you want to contribute via Cash App, use this QR code. Just port your phone to it and make your contribution. Send your check and money order. Make it out to Roland Martin Unfiltered, please. Not Roland Martin, not Uncle Roro, not Black Star Network. Make it out to not even Unfiltered. Make it out to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is paypal.me/rmartinunfiltered. Venmo is venmo.com/rmunfiltered. Zelle, Roland at rolandsmartin.com. Roland at rolandmartinunfiltered.com. Be sure to download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to, of course, get a copy of our book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds. Available bookstores nationwide. Be sure to get your Roland Martin Unfiltered merchandise. We're going to have y'all that new one ready with that Scaramucci quote. Get your swag, please, by going to rolandmartin.creator-spring.com. Get your shirts. Hashtag we tried to tell you, FAFO 2025. And also, don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. You can get a lot of other merchandise as well. QR code is right there, or go to blackstarnetwork.com. Don't forget to also download the app Fanbase. You can get that app, of course. Google Play Store, Apple Store. If you want to invest, of course, the goal is to hit $17 million in this Series A raise. $11.4 million has already been raised. So go to startengine.com/fanbase. Folks, that's it. I will see y'all tomorrow right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla! Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we
We have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?